Hi guys, it's Kassi Reyes, IBCLC, and I wanted to stop by to talk to you guys about a couple of tips for getting ready for going back to work. Going back to work is such a stressful time for a new parent. Even if you're excited to get back to work, there's so many logistics that go into place, and it goes without saying that we're stressed about being away from our baby. So hopefully these tips help make that transition a little bit smoother for you and help take away some of the anxiety around pumping while you're at work. So a couple of things that can help. First of all, talk to your employer about what space is available for pumping. There should be a dedicated pumping space at your work, but find out ahead of time, see the space, know what's in it, know what you need, know if there's a refrigerator available, know what equipment is available, know if there's a plug for your pump, all the things that are going to matter to you. So talk to your employer ahead of time about the space, maybe go look at the space, talk to them about what your breaks are going to look like, and just set up expectations between you and your manager so that there's no stress about this when you're going back to work on that first day. As far as how often you're going to be pumping and how to plan your breaks, you're going to want to plan your breaks around your baby's feeding schedule. And that's going to look a little bit different for each person, because if you're going back to work at 2 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks or after your baby's a year or two old, it's going to be different. They're going to have different feeding schedules. But overall, you want to pump when your baby would have been eating. And for parents of newborns, that's going to be about every 3 hours when you're at work. So basically, if you're working for 8 hours, you're going to pump about 2 to 3 times when you're away from your baby, depending on how long your commute is. Another thing that I think is key is to pack all your stuff the night before so that you don't forget anything when you're stressed and rushing out the door in the morning. Have that morning be relaxing. Have it be a time where you can hopefully feed your baby before you leave and not be worrying about all your pump parts. So the night before, pack your bag. It can be really helpful to have a checklist of all the things you need to take with you, so that every time that you're packing your bag, you can go through that list and make sure you have everything, because it can be so frustrating when you have all your parts with you and maybe you forgot your duckbill or your tubing, and then you can't pump the whole time you're at work because you don't have this silly little part, this silly little really important part. So it can be really uncomfortable to go so many hours without pumping. It can be bad for your supply, and it can be very stressful. So make sure you have everything you need. Other things to consider are bringing your bottles, your storage bags if you need them, if you need a cooler to put your milk on because there is no refrigerator to store your milk in at work. Bring snacks, bring water so that you can have that while you're pumping, and make sure that you have your charger if your pump doesn't have a battery, or maybe always have a hand pump in your bag as a backup just in case you forgot some of the parts to your electric pump. Make sure your pump's charged if it has a battery and if you plan on using that battery. And last but not least, just remember that pumping at work can be hard. You're in a new environment, you're away from your baby. You might not get as much milk out as you normally would. And that can be stressful, but it's also normal. And some things that you can do to help facilitate more milk output while you're at work are to think about your baby, to make sure you're in a relaxed environment. Try to shut down the lights. You can look at pictures of your baby. You can listen to sounds of your baby, watch videos on your phone if you can, or bring an article of clothing that smells like your baby, or bring one of their blankets so that you can smell it while you're pumping. All these things can help get oxytocin going and help that milk get flowing better while you're at work. All right, so those are my tips for you today. I hope that you find it helpful. I am also going to leave a link down below for how to set up virtual visits with me if you're interested in learning more tips about going back to work, if you're having trouble with anything lactation-wise. And I'm going to leave a link for a free resource about a survival guide for the first 1 to 5 days of lactation for those of you who are just getting into this journey. So I hope that all of this was helpful to you. Hang in there. I know back to work is a really hard time for a lot of us. I know that I cried tears for at least the first couple shifts that I had to go back. Every time I left the house, I had some tears, and it'll be okay, but it's not easy. So hang in there. Remember, don't quit on your worst day, and I will see you guys. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell down below so that you're notified every time I post a new video. Thanks guys, I'll talk to you soon.